These three categories explain why builders routinely go insolvent, even when job reports show profit. The trap is margin slippage. A 20% markup actually delivers a 16.7% margin. Across a year, this simple calculation error drains hundreds of thousands from the business. As this text specifies, profit is strictly the leftover amount after every single cost has been paid. It is never the revenue. It is not the contract price, and it is certainly not the upfront deposit. Operating on assumed definitions rather than concrete mathematical reality creates a false sense of security. The math has to align with the actual cash flow, or the business eventually fails. Profit cascades in three layers: gross, operating, and net. Gross profit, revenue minus direct costs, answers, did this job make money? Operating profit subtracts fixed overheads to measure the whole business's health. Finally, net profit deducts interest and taxes, leaving the owner's final cut. Quoting the wrong layer during a financial conversation creates immediate risk. If you give a bank your per-job gross profit, but they use it to assess your whole business net profit, the resulting cash flow models will be completely wrong. This comparison breaks down the most dangerous trap in construction, assuming a 20% markup equals a 20% margin. Look closely at the margin formula. The calculation divides profit by selling price. Margin is the slice taken out of the final customer payment. Now look at markup. Here, the denominator is the cost. Markup is simply the percentage you tack on top of your job costs before quoting the client. This reference table provides the correct conversion metrics. To achieve an industry-standard 20% margin on a residential project, you must apply a 25% markup to your costs. Failing to distinguish between these two denominators systematically robs a business of its expected earnings on every single contract signed. This dashboard outlines how margin targets shift based on your business model. High-volume project home builders operate on very different numbers, typically showing a 12 to 20% gross margin, which yields a tight 4 to 8% net margin. To maintain their required scale, volume builders intentionally price their headline contracts low. The base build functions almost as a loss leader to secure the client. Their actual margin lives elsewhere. It is generated through supplier rebates paid directly to corporate, client upgrades sold at steep premiums, and prime cost items bought at trade price but charged to the client at retail. This table breaks down the math on an $800,000 commercial fit-out. The direct costs consume $640,000, leaving a $160,000 gross profit. Subtract the $80,000 for overheads, and the final net profit rests exactly at $80,000, or 10%. Profit margin strategy is entirely bound to context. Attempting to run a custom renovator business using the tight margin strategy of a volume builder guarantees insolvency due to the massive differences in fixed overhead. Avoiding financial failure comes down to strictly defining your terms. The two most destructive mistakes are confusing markup with margin and using a job's gross profit to gauge the entire business's net health. Before signing any quote or contract, systematically verify the math in your software. Many default estimating templates quietly apply a markup percentage while incorrectly labeling it a margin. Here are the rules to verify against. First, profit cascades in gross, operating, and net layers. Second, markup is not margin. Third, per-job numbers do not equal whole business health. Fourth, volume models hide their margin in upgrades and rebates. And fifth, you must match your margin strategy strictly to your business segment. When your bank balance doesn't reflect the profits shown on your job reports, the solution isn't just to raise prices. The first step is to check the foundational definitions powering your spreadsheet.